welcome back to my channel. This is Christina at Homeschooling Grace, and today is another weekly update. Yay! Okay, we are to week 8, and this was another hard week. So, on my last video, I think I shared we all got, well, 4 of my kids got croup. Well, my baby started getting better, and then by, let's see, Friday I took her to the doctor. Saturday she was like turning around, acting better, and by Sunday evening she was totally sick again. It was terrible. And come to find out, she got a double ear infection and a sinus infection. So it made for a really hard week. My husband ended up taking Monday off because I had to take her to the doctor and get her on antibiotics. And now she's scheduled to go to the ENT for possible tubes for her ears. So this will be my second child that will have to have tubes. So the surgery doesn't necessarily scare me. It's a super fast surgery. It's just a pain having so many appointments. It always kind of messes up our days for school. So we'll see how we progress. So I'm gonna be honest, we only got half our week done this week of school because with that, pretty much that and Halloween, school kind of did not happen as I had planned. So, but that's the beauty of this. And that's why this channel has homeschool and grace, because we have to give ourselves grace. I had to give myself a lot of grace. It was not a perfect week in my eyes, but you know, what can you do? But I will share. Okay, so I don't use a fancy planner because I have all these planners from My Father's World. I don't need to keep, I don't feel like I need to keep a homeschool planner, but I do keep one of these. It's just a student planner. I think you can see that. These are from Dollar Tree. And this is my second year using one, and I love it. I love the way they're set up, and I'll show you. Like, so I just fill it out. I don't know if that's very good in there. Get closer. So I've got filled out our weeks for school, and then all our stuff that we've got planned. So I was looking at my calendar because I was all concerned, like, oh man, we didn't get week 8 completed. Well, I was looking at it, and if you look over here, week 8 is supposed to start on the 3rd this week. So I am totally okay. Like, I'm ahead. So we'll just finish up week 8 this week. So let me know if you would like a video of week 8 part 2, or just wait. You'll have to wait another week for week 9, because I might just kind of go ahead and do part of week 9, but I'd like to give you a full video of our week. So this is gonna kind of be shorter this week. Anyway, so that was pretty awesome. I was pretty excited. I realized that, like, yeah, I'm actually ahead. So there you go. Okay, well, let's get started on the actual school stuff. Okay, like always, I'm gonna start with my 4th grader. She's doing the My Father's World Creation to Greeks. We've got pretty much 2 days done. It was, like I said, it was a rough week. One fun thing we did, and I'll share, we'll be adding a video. My husband put together a fun thing with the girls, and we did this dig kit, and if you look at my last rainbow resource video, I got this from there. But anyways, it's got the whole sarcophagus, and then inside is the mummy, and they wrapped him up, and they even added in some cloves. That's the only spices I had. So anyways, I'll be sharing a video of them digging this up. My husband made it all fun and for them, so we'll share that later. But they did that this week. I think that was actually on Monday when the baby was so sick. He's like, I'll do history. So he did that with him. He also was able to make this at work. It's a pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's a 3D copy, but on the inside, it's got the whole insides of the pyramid. I don't know if you can see that very well. Focus. There we go. So that was kind of fun for her to look at. She's really excited about this. She gets really into what we're learning about, which it makes it a lot of fun to teach it because she's so excited and I get so excited, so then we're excited together, and So we've been trying to figure out, actually I'll ask you guys, if you know of any good documentaries that are kid-friendly on Egypt, ancient Egypt, send them my way because she really wants to watch something and I don't really want to watch them ahead to then watch them again. So let me know if you have any advice or if you know of any good ones that we could watch together. So this week she also, for language arts, was working on some poems and they were really fun ones, which I'm kind of excited about. I really like to find the Shel Silverstein. Anyways, I'm gonna have to look into those for her, well, for all my kids, because they really like the funny poems. So she got to pick one to write and copy and do the copy work. She's supposed to memorize. She kind of struggles with memorization, so I don't really push it as much, the memorization, but they were cute. I'll share one of them. A flea and a fly and a flew were in prison, so what could they do? Said the fly, let us flee. Said the flea, let us fly. So they flew through a flaw in the flue. So those are fun. So that's in that language lessons for today. I'm still really liking this. Next, we did one day of writing, but she was really struggling. And I don't know, was it Halloween? It might have been Halloween and she just could not focus on what she was supposed to be doing. So she's supposed to be writing a short story and she was just struggling with how to build the paragraph and the sentences. I felt like before she could really understand the instructions, but for some reason this lesson, I'm not sure what was going on. So I think this week, since we have a little extra time, I can really focus more with her to help her on that paragraph and story, and so she won't struggle quite so much. Each week, she does insert for her, it's kind of like a new Bible notebook, but, or I don't, what do they call it? They just call it notebook. Anyways, they give you these, and then if you go to the Creation to Greeks Facebook group, someone has created ones where they don't have these added in the student sheets. So this one was added to the student sheets. But anyways, so she writes a summary about what we're reading about in the Bible that week. And so I really like it. So she wrote her summary. You can see I kind of marked it up in red, and then she rewrites it, and then she'll just glue it on here, and then this will be added to her notebook. And I think it's always kind of a neat memory to see what they get from their Bible readings. It kind of is I don't know, it's just cool to look back on, like, what were you actually learning in the Bible at age 10? So anyways, I just thought I'd share that. You know, sometimes these can be easy to just skip, but I think for a memory, they're really cool to look back on and just see what they're learning. Okay, so we're still for math working through beta. She's almost done. She just did her Unit 3 test. Yeah, Unit 3 test. And then she is to Lesson 23. And she'll have, so she's got, what is that? 7 more lessons left, and then we're done. And we can move on to Gamma. So we're pretty excited to be finishing this up. This last lesson was pretty easy. It was like on time and stuff. And I think she's got that down. So we're gonna quickly get to the test, and then she'll go on to the next lesson and hopefully wrap this up. We've been doing about 2 to 3 lessons a week, depending on the difficulty they are. So that'll be good. And we're still working through science in the beginning. Last week we did a really cool experiment, but we have not gotten to any experiments this week. So hopefully, if I do a next video for like 8.2, then I can share how the experiments went. I know it was supposed to be on the eye, which I was super excited about because my 3rd daughter, Hannah, who does PreK, she was born with a congenital cataract, and so it talks all about how the information gets into their brain, how the information coming from your eye gets into your brain, and how you can see. And since she was born with the cataract, she was actually born blind, so her optic nerve wasn't getting the transmissions to go to her brain. And so I was trying to explain it to her, but again, we were all a little off. So I think we need to repeat that lesson, and we didn't get to do the experiment. So that'll be really fun to learn about since we know someone with an eye condition. So that was everything for my 4th grader. So not very much this week, like I said, half a week. So let's move on to my 1st grader. Okay, so my 1st grader, still working through learning God's story. Week 8, we got a little bit farther for her. She got 3 days done as opposed to 2. So she'll only really have 1.5 days to do of school left. We try and do only 4 days. I sometimes will pick up and do the 5th day. It typically is like either a makeup day or exploration day or the science experiments. So we'll see and try and do some of that this week. So I wanted to share, we're to the new month, and I think these are just so cute. I just had to share them. So they're little turkeys for our days of the week. So I don't know who made them. I think my mom used to run a preschool, and I think these were left over when it closed. So okay, so we're working with her handwriting. If you got any tips for handwriting, it's a little sloppy. I remembered, I don't know where I found this tip, but like to use a popsicle stick for spacing between words. That was really helpful this week for her if you're looking for ideas on how to help with the spacing. So we use that. And also, I got one other thing. Okay, so I also saw this, I might have been on the My Father's World website. Anyways, or not website, Facebook group. But, okay, so they take an old pencil box and they put their salt in for the salt tray. So then she was getting, oh, I have a hole in it. Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to find a better one. Anyways, she was getting really frustrated making number 9. So I showed her with the the salt, and then she was able to do it, and then right away, then I showed her how to do it in the salt, then she did it with the salt, and then we went back to her paper and she was able to do it. So I was like, yes. So anytime we're struggling with a letter, we'll just pull this out since it's so small now and compact. We'll practice it with our finger and then we can go to the paper. We're still working through these. She's got a couple left. They were fun in the beginning. She's getting so over this. These are the Unifix cubes and you make your numbers. She does well. I'm writing the numbers in because she has just really been fighting me on school lately. So it's just easier if I just write them in. And typically we do some work pages and she gets more practice in on writing her numbers, so I'm not that concerned. So we're just making it work. Okay, so you're gonna get tired of me talking about this, but we're still doing Ziggy games. This is like saving us because the lessons have you do a reading review, and if I just had to have her sit and read from the book, we would be up here in our schoolroom forever because she hates just reading straight from the book. This makes it so much more fun. But these have been a lifesaver. And so instead of using their cards from like All About Reading, I just make cards. I cut 3x5s by 4s, and I just put literally straight from the book. I'll just write the words and then we just use those to practice, and she does really well with that. So for Bible, she's learning about who wrote the Bible. She learned how many books were in the Bible. We're learning about, there's an Old Testament, New Testament, and now she's to who wrote the Bible. And you think that it's just God wrote the Bible. Well, no, there's still people that wrote the Bible. And one of the co-creators of the Bible Project, Tim Mackey, I've been watching a lot of his videos on the Bible and just sermons because he was a pastor here locally in Oregon, and he talked about how the writing of the Bible is like I'm explaining this terribly. Okay, it's a lithograph by the artist M.C. Escher. It's called Drawing Hands. So that's how he explains how the Bible was written. It's still written, it was written by humans, but then it was inspired by God. Does that make sense? So it's like the drawing hands. So I think it's a really cool idea of it, and I wish that they've had a Bible Project video to explain that better than watching his whole sermon, because I think it would help kids understand, like, it wasn't people like in a trance, like writing the Bible. Like, it was God inspired by humans. I digress. I hope that makes sense. So anyways, it was fun to teach her about who wrote the Bible and how God inspired these people. There's one last thing I wanted to share about for my first grader. Let me grab it. So I'm trying to help her learning to read to be lots of fun, because it can get kind of tedious and just, it's hard. So I have this set. There it is. What is it? ABC cookies. So I laid these all out in alphabetical order, and I then would call out the word, and then she would have to spell it. So it was more for like spelling practice, but I think it was still, we just went through as like a reading review. And I feel like if she can spell it, then she could read it, even if she was frustrated at the moment. Oh, that's an F, not a T. Anyways, so these are fun. These, even for like your younger ones, because you can have the letters or find what goes in between. We use this a lot more for kindergarten last year, but it's still useful for this year. Okay, so let's move on to my pre-K-er. So she's still working through Voyage and Discovery, and we only got through 2 days again, so that happens sometimes. But she's learning about the number 3, and so she had actually picked this book to read, and I was like, perfect, because it's Clifford's 1, 2, 3, and it literally, you're just counting to 3 on every page. And so that was a fun one for our read aloud that day. And if you follow me on Instagram, I share all our read alouds each day that we do at lunchtime. So if you're ever interested in seeing what books we're reading, you can check out my Instagram page. It's linked, I'll have it linked here, or I'll link it down below in the description. So she's also learning the letter F. So we got the frog up there. We haven't made our big special picture yet, but that's okay. And then I watched a YouTube video of David Hazel. You can find his, where he speaks. He's the creator of My Father's World. He does a whole series on teaching preschoolers. I think that's what it is. And he talks about how useful this game is, this Lori Learning Little People, I don't know what this is called. It's just called Kids. Anyways, how useful this is for fine motor skills, because the pulling out and then putting them back in and stuff, and then like the way that you hold them, it's good for learning your pencil grip. So I've been really, when this is scheduled, I make sure we do it, because I think it's really good for those fine motor skills. And sometimes, you just drop them, you're putting them in order, and you're teaching them, like when you're writing, how it goes in an order. So this is a really, I think they have put a lot of thought into their educational toys. And so I'll link this below off their website, because I want to make sure they get credit, because I really appreciate them as a homeschool curriculum and just their ministry and their heart behind it. So anyways, I just wanted to make sure I shared this, that we use this today, and she was just literally making like groups of 3s, and with her patch on and her glasses. So kids that have eye disabilities, like, this helps them so much with those, working that little muscle in their eye. So I just wanted to share that. So I also had her use the salt to work on her letter F to practice drawing it. So I think this is another really great resource to help with those fine motor skills, especially learning to write. Okay, so that was about it for my pre-K-er this week. It was pretty short. We didn't do a whole lot. Oh, I'll share Bible. Okay, so for Bible this week, she's learning about Moses and the burning bush, and I thought it was cute. She made a burning bush. She's like, I don't know how to make fire. I'm like, it's okay, just do your best. And she did, and it was fun. I drew the bush out, and then she just painted it, and who doesn't like to paint when you're 4? I mean, Okay, and now on to my preschooler. All aboard the animal train. We did one day. You know, like I said, this I stretch out. So we're still on week 1 and it was still fun. She still came up and said, "Can I do school? Is it my turn?" So she was learning about love because our verse is love God and love others. And so she made her daddy a little picture. I thought I'd share that. She painted, again, painting, so much fun. And then she's learning about bunnies. So I'm literally like going on my bookcase and looking book by book. And then when I find a bunny book, I just pull it off. I'm like, okay, we'll read this one today. Another bunny book. Okay, we'll read this one. So this is the one I pulled off. Actually, I didn't even pull this one. My Hannah picked it. She was like, let's read this one. I'm like, perfect, we're learning about bunnies. So Runaway Bunny. I love Margaret Wise Brown. She writes such good kid stories. They're always so fun and the artwork is always so pretty. So for her Bible, she's also using the Preschooler's Bible. So we read a couple of stories from this, and then I added in the nursery rhyme book, nursery rhyme Bible book. So I'll link this down below if you're interested. I love this book. So I think she was learning about Adam and Eve. So we read about them. And then she got really excited in this one. It wasn't part of it, but we read about it. Because she's like, oh, it's the sister, the baby, it's our family. Even though our family's bigger. But I thought that was sweet. So we did this and this for Bible. That was all for my preschooler this week. Okay, so here's that big stack again. All these teacher manuals. I hope this video was helpful for you for your homeschool week. Which week are you on? Are you to week 8? Are you further ahead? Are you behind? You're not really behind. You're just on your, you're not behind. Anyways, we like to end by summer, June, so that we can have a summer. I like to have summer. I don't like to have to work when the sun's out and it's warm out. So that's why we really try and push to get done by then. We kind of follow the school schedule in that way, the public school schedule. So let me know down below if you have any questions about this video or any of the curriculum that we're using or anything that we're doing. We're having a good time. It's been kind of hard these past couple weeks with all the sickness. It has hit us early. So hopefully we will all get healthy and we can just get school done. So thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you at the next video. All right, thanks, bye-bye.